Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video, we'll be taking a look at the Gloomspite Gitz Deep Dive Part 2. Part 1 of the Gloomspite Gitz Deep Dive is up on the channel if you haven't seen it already, and in that video we covered most of the Games Workshop sets available for Age of Sigmar, and then we looked at the fighter cards and abilities for them if we wanted to use them in Warcry. In this video, we'll take a look at the more obscure miniatures and some of the larger models available, like the Fellwater Troggoth, the Rockgut Troggoth. We'll also look at Gobapalooza and also Mollog's mob and see how we can use all those miniatures in Warcry. In the Harbingers of Destruction Warcry supplement book, you can find a great section on the Gobapalooza on page 19, and the fighter cards and abilities on that page have got both the Gloomspite Gitz faction rune mark and the ally rune mark, and this means that each fighter can either be added to a Gloomspite Gitz warband as a normal fighter, or you can include them in another destruction warband as an ally. These are great looking miniatures with some really cool abilities that are very unique. So each of the 5 Gobapalooza available have got their own unique ability, and I think that's really fun. So if you want to build in some kind of narrative to your warband, I think these would be great miniatures to add. So let's get started, and we'll go with the first one, who's called the Boggle Eye. One thing I think is great about all the Gobapalooza is the point value is really low. So they're all going to come in at 85 points each, and this one, the Boggle Eye, has got a movement of 4, toughness 3, and he can take 12 wounds. You can see he's got that ally rune mark and another rune mark, the Flaming Skull, so he's going to get that ability that's unique to him. And he's also got the Gloomspite Gitz rune mark, so that means you can use him as a regular fighter. And his weapon range is 2, he can make 3 attacks, strength 3, and that's going to deal 1 to 4 on a crit. So that's the fighter card for this guy. So for 85 points, you're getting quite a lot of wounds there, but not a great deal of damage being put out, but it's the abilities, I think, that really make these characters worth including in your warband. So let's take a look at his ability, which is a double called Mesmerize. An enemy fighter within a number of inches of this fighter equal to the value of this ability and roll a dice. On a 3+, until the end of the battle round, that fighter cannot make move actions or disengage actions. So I guess with this kind of Boggle Eye almost hypnotizes the enemy fighters, roots them to the ground, and they can't move. So really great fun, and you could certainly build some narrative around that, and a background for this character I think would be really great to put together. But for 85 points, for a nice little cheeky double ability, I think that's really fun. Our next member of the Gobapalooza is the Scaremonger, and again 85 points. We've got a movement 4, toughness 3, he can take 16 wounds now, which is really high for an 85 point fighter. He's got the Gloomspite Gitz rune mark, the ally rune mark, and now he's got this skull rune mark, and he's got a weapon range of 1. This guy's going to be attacking you with those big fangs, and whatever he's got, it looks like there's 2 kind of fighters all together stood on each other. So that's 4 attacks, strength 3, dealing 1 to 4 on a crit. So I think this guy is pretty good for 85 points to have 4 attacks, even though it's only strength 3, dealing 1 to 4 on a crit. That's not bad at all. Being able to take 16 wounds is crazy. And so, yeah, I think if this is like either 2 models in one, or the guy at the bottom has kind of got a fake, almost like Scarecrow, Scaremonger at the top, I think that's why you've got those extra wounds. So that's really great. But now let's look at the ability that comes with the Scaremonger. And this time it's a triple called Bogeyman Dance. Pick a visible friendly fighter within 6 inches of this fighter. Until the end of the battle round, add half the value of this ability, rounding up, to the move characteristics of that fighter. So this is a great ability that we can help friendly fighters, as long as they're within 6 inches of the fighter, and they have to be visible, so we have to make sure we can see them. And until the end of the round, half the value of this ability can be added to their move characteristic. So that's really great. So you could do that for both move actions if you wanted to. So that's a pretty good triple. Again, only 85 points for this fighter. So to get that kind of ability with that 16 wounds, this is one that would really be worth including on a warband for sure. Our next Gobapalooza fighter is the Shrewmancer, and I think this is my favourite miniature. It's a real cool looking dude sat on top of this weird pink purple mushroom beast that looks like a kind of big brain on legs. I think this is really funny looking. I think it'd be great fun to have on the table and to play with. And again, just 85 points with a movement of 4, toughness 3, can take 12 wounds. We've got the ally and the Gloomspite Gitz rune mark, and then we've got this other rune mark that we haven't seen yet, so he's going to get his ability too. He's got a weapon range of 2, can make 3 attacks, strength 3, dealing 1 to 4 on a crit. So that's the stats for the fighter card, but it's the abilities that really make these characters come into their own. So let's take a look at the ability for the Shrewmancer, and this one's another triple called Fungoid Cloud. Pick an enemy fighter within a number of inches of this fighter equal to the value of this ability. Until the end of the battle round, subtract the value of this ability from the attacks characteristic to a minimum of 1 of attack actions made by that fighter. No fighter wants to see a fungoid cloud coming at them, and I think this is a great ability again for this points value. So really cool. You can really reduce those attack characteristics of one enemy fighter. I think this is really useful, and if you put him in like a little command team, he would certainly be a good one to reduce the attacks coming at your leader and even some of your weaker fighters. So yeah, great addition again, this one. Next, we've got the Brugit. Again, 85 points, and I love the face on this one. Looks so grumpy. I think it's a brilliant model. They're all so good, this little set. But for 85 points, we get that movement 4, toughness 3, and can take 12 wounds. The Gloomspite Gitz rune mark, the Ally rune mark, and this Bulwark rune mark. So we'll see his ability in a second. And he's got a weapon range of 1, making 4 attacks, strength 3, dealing 1 to 3 on a crit. So damage output here, pretty weak. He's the weakest of the 5 Gobapaloozas in the amount of damage he can put out. Still nice to have those 4 attacks though. That's always good, and to be able to take 12 wounds. But it's the ability we're here for these guys. And so let's take a look at the ability for the Brugit. And this is a double called Loonshine Potion. Pick a friendly enemy fighter within 3 inches of this fighter. Until the end of the battle round, add half the value of this ability, rounding up to the attack characteristics of the next attack action made by that fighter that has a range characteristic of 3 or less. So for a double, this is a great ability. It's quite a mouthful and a bit long-winded, like a lot of these abilities can be, but basically as long as that friendly fighter is visible within 3 inches of the fighter until the end of the battle round, which means that's 2 activations potentially, add half the valued ability rounded up to the attack's characteristic, which is really great. So, you know, as long as they've got a range characteristic of 3 or less, this is really going to bump up those attacks that are going to come from one friendly fighter. So for a double and for an 85-point fighter, again, a brilliant ability to tag in. And he looks great. He's almost giving him these potions to the different fighters to strengthen them, give them the extra attack. And again, building that into your narrative, I think, would be really fun. And so another great model here. Next, we've got the Spiker, and this is a real sinister looking dude. I think if anyone's going to spike your drink, it's going to be this guy. And for 85 points, got a movement 4, toughness 3, again 12 wounds. We got the Gloomspite Gitz and the Ally rune mark, and then this other rune mark, so we haven't seen his ability yet either. And he's got a weapon range of 2 with that club. He's going to make 3 attacks, strength 3, and deal 1 to 4 on a crit. So with that extra little bit of range, making 3 attacks, potential to do a little bit of damage, but again, it's the ability we want. So let's check out the ability for the Spiker. And the Spiker is going to come with a double called Poison Brew. Pick a visible friendly fighter within 3 inches of this fighter. Until the end of the battle round, add the value of this ability to the strength characteristic of the next attack action made by that fighter that has a range characteristic of 3 or less. So this guy's got a great way to add some strength to a friendly fighter. They've got to be visible again. And again, it's until the end of the battle round, so it could potentially be for 2 attack actions. And you can add the full value of the ability to the strength characteristic. So this is a great way to make sure you get a really good chance of making those attacks hit home. But I think because he's a spiker, I'd imagine him to have an effect on the enemy. So I think that's a little bit out there. I think it would be good to have made... And it's called Poison Brew. And so... you wouldn't give a poison brew to a friendly fighter, would you? I don't know. So I think that one maybe doesn't hit the mark for me. I think I really like the Brugit, and I really like the Shrewmancer. I think they're my favourite out of these. But if you want to go for something that adds strength to your warband, the Spiker's perfect. There we go, that's the Gobapalooza. I think these are a brilliant set. Quite expensive if you pick these up. The RRP is £30 here in the UK, so not a cheap set, certainly for 5 models which aren't going to be very big. These are quite small, but really fun. Great addition to a warband, and certainly if you're building a narrative and you're really focusing on the Gloomspite Gitz as your main warband, I think it's worth spending the money. But you could also proxy some of the miniatures you've got already, and you could even start kind of making little additions to them so that they fit in with the descriptions here. So you don't necessarily have to buy the Gobapalooza. You could definitely mock something up or proxy a model for it. But I think they're so good, I think I'd be tempted to get them if this was my main warband for sure. Right, now we can look at the Thralls and Roman Beasts, and you'll find this section in the Tome of Champions, both the 2019 and the 2020 editions. And the Roman Beasts is a great section where it includes like what's called wild cave creatures and restless dead, and this is a great way to kind of add some different chaotic beasts to your game. And in that section we'll find the wild cave squig, the fellwater troggoth and the rockgut troggoth. But I'll be using cards from the Harbingers of Destruction for the models, but you've got the option. But I prefer the cards and the abilities that we find in there. Although they're very similar in both, the points are a little bit different. So let's get started with the Fellwater Troggoth, and we've taken this from the Harbingers of Destruction book. So these are real fun models again, and this is a great way to add some bigger miniatures, some bigger fighters to your warband. And they're going to come at 190 points, and they got a movement 4, toughness 4, can take 28 wounds, so a huge amount there. They've got the rune mark for the destruction, and they've got 2 other rune marks, so they're going to get 2 abilities, and they've also got the Thrall rune mark. So you can not just use them for the Gloomspite Gitz, you can use them for any other warband from the Alliance of Destruction. So that's really good. And so with this Fellwater Troggoth, they've got a weapon range of 1, can make 3 attacks, strength 5, dealing 3 to 6 on a crit. So this is huge. Great amount of damage they can put out there. Imagine combining that with some of the abilities we've just seen from the Gobapalooza. I think that would be amazing. But they're also going to get their own ability, which is a double called Noxious Vomit. And with this, they roll a number of dice equal to the value of this ability. For each 4+, pick 1 visible enemy fighter within 6 inches of this fighter. Allocate D3 damage points to that fighter. So this could be really good. If you've got, say, a high value of 6 for the ability, you can roll 6 dice. For every 4+, you pick 1 different visible enemy fighter within 6 inches of the fighter. And then roll a D3 and then give that many damage points to them. So you do want a high value for your ability to be able to use this one, but potential to deal out a little bit of damage. And the idea is they're spitting this noxious vomit all around them as they're swinging their club, going crazy on the battlefield. And I think that's a real fun ability to use. With that extra rune mark, the Fellwater Troggoth also gets the Troggoth Regrowth, and this is a double again. And for this one, remove a number of damage points from this fighter equal to the value of this ability. So nice and simple, whatever the value of the ability is, you can remove that many damage points. So I don't know a lot about these Fellwater Troggoths, but I don't know why they would get that healing Troggoth Regrowth ability. But yeah, if you know, let me know in the comments. It'd be awesome to find out. But nice and simple, 2 great abilities there, and for 190 points, I think you get quite a lot from this, and this would be a great thrall to include in your warband. And our next thrall is the Rockgut Troggoth, and this guy's coming in at 190 points with a movement 4, toughness 5, can take 28 wounds, so this one's a bit tougher. We've got the Alliance of Destruction rune mark there, the Thrall rune mark, and 1 rune mark for an ability. And the weapon on this is a range of 1, 3 attacks, strength 5, dealing 2 to 5 on a crit. So we're not putting out as much damage here, can make the same number of attacks, strong, but this one's tougher. So this is quite a lot tougher. The same amount of points as the Fellwater Troggoth that we saw, but we're now only going to get 1 ability with this guy. So there's a bit of kind of pros and cons of this. Do you want someone who's a bit tougher, or do you want someone who's not as tough but can put out more damage and has more abilities? So, choosing whichever one you want is going to be up to you. And it'd be really fun to set some narratives around why you're including these in your warband too. But this guy's going to get the Troggoth Regrowth that we've just gone for. That's the only ability. And so there we go. Now we're going to move on to monsters, because it's not just Thralls we can include. There's some monsters in the Alliance book too. And here are 2 large monster models that you can buy from Games Workshop. And I think these can both be used as Dankhold Troggoths. And you'll find that information in the Harbingers of Destruction Warcry supplement book. And there's a section on page 10 that goes into everything you need to know about the Dankhold Troggoth. Tiny bit of background, their abilities and everything. And so I've picked out the fighter card and the damage table here. So let's go through it. So I've been making a bit of a mistake with this damage table in the past. You'll see it's got 3 columns. 1 for damage points allocated, 1 for move, 1 for damage. And so also on the fighter card, you'll see that the damage output has got the little asterisks there, and also the movement has got the asterisks. So the idea is, if the model or the fighter has received between 0 and 10 points of damage during the battle, then they can move 6, and their damage output would be 4 to 8. But as they get more damage allocated to them, their movement and the damage output is reduced. So for example, as we work down the table, you'll see that when we're on 11 to 20 points, that movement is 5 still, but the damage has come down from, instead of being damage 4 to 8 on a crit, it's now 4 to 6. And then as you go down again, so once we get to 21 to 30 damage points, the movement's reduced now. So instead of 5, it's 4, and the damage output is now down to 3 to 6. And it keeps going down until you get to the very end, 41 to 47 points of damage received. They can now only move 3, and the damage output is only 2 to 4. So with this guy, you want to get them in nice and early, do some damage, but as soon as they start being hurt, then that damage output's going to be reduced. So kind of that's going to really play into the battle, and it's really fun as well, I think, once that starts happening. So I hope that explains how it works. But yeah, I was doing it wrong. I thought that you would choose how many damage points to give the monster. So instead of 48, if they had 11 to 20 from the start, then that's what they'd have throughout the game. So I got that wrong, but I've figured it out now, and I hope that makes sense. So starting off, we're going to get loads for our point value here. 285 points. He can take 48 damage, toughness 4, and then again that movement's going to change as he gets more damage himself. He's got the rune mark for the monster. He's got the gargantuan rune mark and the beast rune mark. He's going to get lots of abilities, this guy. And then his weapon is a range of 2, can make 3 attacks, strength 5. And again, that damage output is going to change as the battle goes on. It could be anything from 4 to 8 on a crit, right down to 2 to 4 on a crit, depending on how much damage he's taken during the fight. So for 285 points, that's a lot. You really want to get a monster if you can. It's great fun narratively and awesome to have on the battlefield. Now let's take a look at the Dankhold Troggoth's abilities, and straight away he's going to get 3 for that rune mark he's got. The first one is a double called Squiggly Beast Followers. For this, roll a dice for each visible enemy fighter within 3 inches of this fighter. If the roll is less than or equal to the value of the ability, allocate 1 damage point to the fighter being rolled for. So nice and easy. Roll a dice for each visible enemy fighter. So potentially you could do a lot of damage if there's lots around him, and if they're swarming him, there will be. And so that's not bad for a double. But he's got another one called Troggoth Regrowth, and this one is another double where we remove a number of damage points from this fighter equal to the value of the ability. So we've seen this one already with the Thralls, but he's got a triple called Crushing Grip. Pick 1 visible enemy fighter within 1 inch of this fighter and roll a number of dice equal to the value of this ability. For each 4+, allocate 2 damage points to that fighter. So again, with a high value of an ability, you're going to roll quite a lot of dice here and potentially do a fair bit of damage as an extra ability on top of that damage he's putting out with that massive club he's got. So this could be really fun. Some great abilities there. But that's not all of them. He's also got some monster abilities. So let's have a look at those. Because of that gargantuan rune mark, we're going to get 3 more monster abilities now. So this is a lot. 6 abilities for 285 points is crazy. But just to bear in mind that any monsters you include can't use the regular fighter abilities for your warband. So while we lose those fighter abilities, we gain these monster abilities, and I think it's a great trade-off. The first one is a double called Monstrous Reach. Until the end of this fighter's activation, do not count the vertical distance when measuring the range for attack actions made by this fighter. So I'm interpreting this as usually you measure from like base to base, and so if they're higher up the kind of target you're aiming for, then that's going to be a diagonal line to measure the range. But with this one, I'm guessing you would only measure horizontally. So you just go straight across in a straight line, kind of almost imagining from a bird's eye view the distance between the two. So, but I could be wrong there. If you kind of think I'm wrong and you've got an explanation for this, then please add it below. It'd be great to get that clarified. But that's how I'm interpreting this monstrous reach. And then the next one is a triple called Dragon Maul. Pick a visible enemy fighter within 6 inches of this fighter. Remove that fighter from the battlefield and set them up within 1 inch of this fighter. Then roll a number of dice equal to the value of this ability. For each 4+, allocate 3 damage points to that fighter. So this is pretty cool. You're dragging an enemy fighter towards you, getting them close, and then rolling dice to see how much damage you can give them. And for a 4+ to deal 3 damage points, this could be really bad if you're rolling a lot of dice. So there's a good chance of dealing some serious damage with that triple. But we got another one, a quad, called Demolishing Rampage. Pick a terrain feature within 1 inch of this fighter. In an order of your choice, place each objective, treasure token, and fighter that is on that terrain feature and on any other terrain feature that is on that terrain feature on the battlefield floor in a location of your choice as close as possible horizontally to its current location. Then, in an order of your choice, each fighter placed on the battlefield in this manner suffers impact damage. Then remove the terrain feature or features. Okay, that has to be the most long-winded ability yet, so that's a record. I think to go through this, I'll do a separate video on monsters and their abilities. I think it'll be fun to get some big miniatures out and go through the abilities with some playthroughs. I think that'll make a lot more sense. But there we go, that's the monster abilities, and this will also carry forward to the next monster we cover, which is the Arachnarok. And here's the Skitterstrand Arachnarok, and you'll find him or her on page 9 of the Harbingers of Destruction book. And again, just a tiny bit of background, and it's going to include the fighter card and abilities. And for this one, a huge amount of points, 325, but look what you get for it. 55 wounds that this monster can take. Toughness is only 4 though. I thought it might be higher at toughness 5, but still, toughness 4. We've got the rune mark for the monster, Gargantuan, and one other, so we know we're going to get a ton of abilities. And we've already seen those monster abilities that this Arachnarok can use. And weapon-wise, it's a weapon range of 1, so we're seeing those kind of fangs come into action now, and that's going to be 4 attacks, strength 5, and then we'll look at that damage table to see just how much damage is going to be put out. But once we get started in the battle, there's going to be a huge movement of 8, and that damage output is going to be 4 to 8, 8 on a crit. So that's huge, and even at its lowest point, it's still going to have a nice movement of 4, dealing 2 to 4 on a crit. So let's look at the specific abilities now for the Arachnarok. And the first one is a double called Wall Crawler. Until the end of this fighter's activation, do not count the vertical distance moved when this fighter is climbing. So that's a great double there. Makes a lot of sense. This is going to kind of skitter and scuttle along. It's going to crawl up those walls, no problem. And so if you're up high trying to get out of the way here, you're going to be in trouble if they use the double, because it's going to get you really easily. So that's the first one. Next we've got a triple called Paralyzing Venom. I like how the monsters all go from a double to a triple to a quad, and they move up. I like that. So this Paralyzing Venom, until the end of this fighter's activation, after each attack action made by this fighter, roll a dice. On a 2+, until the end of the battle round, the target of that attack action cannot make move actions or disengage actions. So that's, again, a nice, very nice narrative ability there. And our final one is a quad called Dragged Victim. Pick an enemy fighter within 1 inch of this fighter. Remove that fighter from the battlefield and set them up within 1 inch of this fighter. Then this fighter makes a bonus attack action against that fighter. So I suppose this is going to be quite a big model. So as long as there's an enemy fighter within 1 inch of him, you can remove him and place him up within 1 inch of this one. And on quite a big base, that could be like a good amount of distance, 4 to 6 inches maybe? So you could certainly move them from the front to the back and then almost throw them behind you for the rest of the warband who may be moving up behind the monster to attack. So that's quite fun. I quite like that one. And then as well as moving that fighter, you can also make a bonus attack action against them. So that's pretty good. So there we go. That's the abilities for the Skitterstrand Arachnarok. And don't forget, they've also got those 3 monster abilities that we covered previously. With the monsters covered, now let's move on to Mollog's Mob. And Mollog's Mob is an Underworld set, and this is a great set of miniatures. I think Underworld is perfect for Warcry to add some great fighters to your warband, really unique sculpts. I think it's really fun as well. So let's go through the stats for all of the fighters in Mollog's Mob. And the first one is Mollog himself, and I thought he's got to be a Rockgut Trogoth that we've already covered, but he could also be a Dankhold Trogoth if he wanted to, and we've covered both of these already. And I think you've got an option if you want to put a warband together that was just for these guys. You could really kind of give them some real high value fighter cards, and then almost just try and go with just these four, maybe add just a couple of extra what they call squigs, chuck some more squigs in maybe to bulk it up. I think that would be quite cool. So I think he really definitely straight away is going to suit those two, and those two fighters are going to be perfect for him, and then he'll get all the abilities for those that we've covered previously. Then we got this fighter, and straight away the model screamed out Shrewmancer, but only 85 points, so quite low. But yeah, definitely a Shrewmancer, and I really like the abilities that comes with the Shrewmancer. I think that would fit in with this model, and it would play into the narrative. And so that's the first two. I think those two straight away, really easy. But then we got this guy, and he's a flying squig. And I thought maybe let's go for Squig Hopper. And then he's got the flight rune mark. He's got the nice amount of distance he can travel. And those teeth are going to do some serious damage. So that one was easy too. But then we got this one. So I wasn't sure whether we'd go for a Boggle Eye. But then I thought maybe we could use a Stabber with Barbed Net. But not have a net. Almost use like some kind of mushroom power or like some kind of spores to hold the fighter in place. So if we just twisted the narrative a little bit on the ability that comes with a Stabber with a net, that would work, I think. So that's Mollog's Mob, a great set. If you can get it for like £20 or even cheaper with a discount, I think it's well worth getting. Really fun, and I'll be doing an unboxing soon so you can actually see it. That'll be up on the channel, but a great set. I really recommend this. So that's pretty much all the models now in this part 1 and part 2 of the Gloomspite Gitz deep dive. All the models available for Games Workshop at Age of Sigmar, and then how we can use them in Warcry. And I thought it'd be cool to put together my own warband with all the ones we've covered, picking out my favourites. So first of all, I'm really keen to expand my warband and get a loon boss on a giant cave squig. And then we've got Zarbag's Gitz down in the bottom right. And this gives us a real nice selection of squig herders. It gives us some different kind of almost shamanistic characters. We've got stabbers, shooters, netters, and we've got some squigs in there too. So that's a really great set. Another Underworld set. So really nice to have. I really want a sneaky snuffler. I don't want lots of them. I think just having one on the warband would be really fun. Mostly because the name is cool. And I also like the miniature itself, the sculpt. Then a squig hopper. Got to have one or two of those to bounce around. And some regular squigs with the squig herder or two. And then to finish off, I think if we want like a bigger model, I'd really like to put in one of the Rockgut Trogoths, and so I think that would be really fun. So we've got some great options set-wise. We could get the starter set, we could get some of the Underworld sets, and we could really start to build some interesting warbands with tons of cool narrative. They look awesome. All the different heights and sizes are brilliant, and I think these are really fun and are fast becoming one of my favourite warbands for sure. I'll put links to the Harbingers of Destruction book and also to the Tome of Champions books in the description below. I'll also put some links to find some of the Gloomspite Gitz miniatures at Element Games, and there'll be affiliate links, but they won't cost you anything extra. In fact, you can save up to 20% there on all your games produce, and for every sale made, I make a small commission, and then I can use that to develop the channel and make loads more videos like this. So thanks so much for supporting the channel in that way. I really appreciate it, so thanks so much. But these were one of the deep dives recommended by my Patreons, and so if you join the Patreon community, you get to join in and help kind of the direction the channel goes in. You can vote on things you like, and so that's a really good way to get involved and help the channel too. If you like this kind of content and would like to support the channel, then please check out my Patreon page, and thanks to everyone who's joined so far. It's really awesome. We hang out on Discord, talk about the hobby, share ideas and help each other out, and you'll get some perks there that you're not going to find anywhere else. So I'll put a link in the description, and it'd be great to see you there. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it. It's great fun going through all the Gloomspite Gitz and checking out all the different models available. Don't forget part 1's up on the channel too, so if you haven't seen that yet, it's there for you to watch. But thanks so much for watching. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.